Hello, everyone. Bill Adams, Coldwell Banker Realty. Today, I'm excited to be interviewing Luann Lennox. Luann is the owner of Tequila Snobs. Very exciting business. Stay tuned for this great interview here. Luann, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's start by you telling us about your exciting business.
Gosh, Tequila Snobs. I do corporate and individual tequila tasting events.
Mhm.
So if you've ever been to a wine tasting, it's the same idea. You have a glass, you're swirling, you're looking at the colors, you're analyzing the aromas, the different tactile intensity and the flavors, and anywhere from 6 to maybe 20 people at your home. I bring 10 to 12 to 15 different tequilas. And I say different because I'm not a distributor. I don't sell any one particular brand. I'm not married to one brand. I do have my favorites. But I bring them to your home and you invite the people. And again, not selling tequila, you pay per person. And I take you through an exquisite journey from all the different ages, tell you how it's made, where it's made, how it's grown, how it's aged, and then again, all the different tastes and the different flavors that are in each one.
Wow, sounds exciting and flavorful. How did you get into the business?
Gosh, I was doing something I didn't love after being in the corporate world for 30 years. Wait, how old am I? For 30 years, and then moved into into a profession that I didn't like it. And I went to a networking event where many of you are familiar. A networking event, you usually do like a 30-second commercial. Well, we had a 5-minute commercial. But when I walked in, the hostess said that someone in the group was already doing what I was doing, and I didn't want to do that anyway. So I was thinking about doing some other stuff anyway. But I had like 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes all the way around. It finally got to me, and I'm thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? And it gets to me, and she says, graciously, she says, Luann does something that someone in the room already does. So Luann, just tell us about yourself. And I went, ah. So I said, I was thinking about doing Jeep tours because I had done that for a while, and I'm an off-roader person. And I was also thinking about going into photography and photographing weddings. So I said, I can take you off-road. I have a Jeep. And then I'll take your picture while you're out there. And then when you come back, I have a whole bunch of beautiful tequilas. And I can walk you through all of them and tell you all about them. And we can taste tequila. And she said, well, instead of us going to your house, could you bring the tequila to my $5 million house? And I could invite maybe 10 of my friends, and we would pay you, and you could have us do it right here in the library. And I was like, oh, I guess that would work. So I went home. I'm a spreadsheet girl. I put together spreadsheets, put together numbers, how much drinking would be too much, because I don't want them to get really drunk, but I got to explain all the different flavors. And that's kind of where and how my business began and my business started.
Wow, that's a unique way of, if you will, backing into a business,
right?
Or
right, and that was 12 years ago, so it's been great.
Wow, super. So over those 12 years, I'm sure you had some great experiences. Can you share one of those memorable times with us?
It's so funny. I come home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. But it was a great, great party and great fun. And then there's other times that I wonder if I really, really made an impression. And then those are the people that like email me and write me and go, oh my gosh, it was great, it was great. So I try to judge the crowd. Speaking of crowds, I just recently had an event, and it was coincidentally for a realtor, and he had people from out of state at this $9 million house in PV, and they were all realtors and mortgage people, and they were all. He was just introducing the house to the to the people, so they would have something they'd know about it to be able to sell it. But she hired me to have just a table. Normally I have a table off in the corner and 6 or 8 people will come up. I take them through a quick little flight of maybe 3 or 4 tequilas. I tell them a bit about it, and then they go on their merry way to their party. Well, my table was right where the action of the party was. There were so many people, it was deafening. I was yelling and trying to explain, and all these hundreds, I mean, truly, there were probably 300 people. They were all just crowded up, and they all were interested, and they all wanted. So it was great, and it was fun. And this is very memorable. I had one of these exquisite, bottles, like one of these, and it was empty. And of course, you can't tell if it's empty. And it was empty, and I was down to like the last shot, and somebody said, "I want two," and I was pouring it and pouring it and pouring it. It was empty, and there was only one left. And I said, I looked out, right? There's like 15 people who wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what do I do? And they all said, you drink it, you drink it, you drink it. Well, as you can imagine, I'm driving in an open air Jeep with 15 bottles of open tequila. I don't ever have any tequila on my breath, and I never drink during the events. So, it was this little. So when I sipped it, like the crowd went wild. They all cheered. They were so excited. I'm like, I guess I should do that more often. They were so excited because they knew that I was working really hard and rocking. And then they're like, you deserve it. You sip it. So yeah. So that was a very memorable, crazy experience.
Oh, what a great tale.
Yes.
Super. So, day to day, what are your challenges of the business?
Day to day, I would say, and you probably read this or saw this. My tagline is become enamored, not hammered.
Mm-hmm.
And people joke and they hear hammered and they think it's real funny, but I really mean that. Like enamored is I'm just gonna fall in love with tequila, and I'm just enamored. Enamored is just one of those words that, plus it rhymes with hammered. It's perfect. So that's what I want, and I don't want people to just shoot the tequila back and it's horrible, and it's the thing we do to just get really drunk. And I want to teach the world, one person at a time, that tequila is something that can be savored and enjoyed, like a cognac or a bourbon or a fine wine. It can be enjoyed because there's all those idiosyncrasies and all those complex flavors that are all in there. And so that's probably day to day one of my challenges. A big challenge that I'll talk about that is kind of like under the table and people don't mention anymore. COVID was rough.
Yeah.
Like people sitting together in a small area, laughing and spewing droplets into the air while sipping tequila, even though I know it's alcohol. My business completely shut down. And I shouldn't say that because I quite quickly grabbed an opportunity with Zoom and all the stuff we can do on the internet, and I did virtual tastings. Okay. So I created little bags with little teeny tequilas in it. I delivered those bags to people's homes, and then everybody gathered, and people were so excited to finally see their friends, even if it was on a computer screen with one square, you're all little squares. And then one at a time, I would say, okay, open the one that's labeled number one. And I'd be like talking to them, and then they'd sip it. But man, that interaction, I really, really, really miss that personal interaction and really see what's going on. And I feel like corporations have not come back. Individuals have. Corporations, I feel like they maybe, they haven't spent that money for 3 years, 4 years on their clients or their staff. And they're like, look at all the money we've saved. So we don't need to do a Christmas party. We don't need to honor our guests or our clients anymore. So getting back into it but privately people are starting to come back. And if Cinco de Mayo is right around the corner. So yeah.
All right.
It's coming back.
After an event, what do your clients say about you?
Gosh, I have this little questionnaire that I send out. Tiny. It's just a little, I shouldn't say I send it. I hand it to them and they put it in an envelope when they're done. It just has 4 quick little questions. And one of the questions is, in a few words, describe the event. And the word education is always in their response. Very educating. very elevating. I had no idea there was so much to learn
Uh-huh.
about tequila. This has changed the way I drink tequila for the rest of my life. Like they
Huh.
really, it's kind of fun. And and then one of the questions on there is how could you improve the event? So you'd
Uh-huh.
think I only did that to like feed my own ego. It's fun to hear all those great accolades, but how to improve the event, I really don't hear much.
Hmm.
Sometimes there's always that jokester that says more tequila, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So education is really the big thing.
Well, great. I mean, and that's one of your goals is to educate people on tequila and
Right.
to get that feedback. That's got to be very satisfying for you.
Indeed. Indeed it is.
What
It is.
what motivates you?
And again, I'm going to go back to the same thing. I just really want people to understand that tequila can be a very, very exquisite sip. It's there's some that are upwards of 100, 200, $300. Not necessarily, those are not always the best ones.
Hmm.
But if you're buying anything over 12 bucks, to just learn how to enjoy it and learn how to sip it and know that it's not just something that should be shot straight down your throat and not tasted. I'd like to have a little better presence, maybe nationally or internationally, whether that would be through YouTube. I think it would be really fun to um, people think of me as the tequila expert. I mean, they do
Hmm.
locally here. Like as far as the tequila goes locally, I'm kind of a big fish, but it's a very little sea. But I'd
Uh-huh.
like to maybe play with YouTube a little bit more and get my little voice and my knowledge out there
Yeah.
and
Take your
inspire more people.
take you around the world. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
All right. So while you're, I'm sure you're very busy with your business and entertaining and educating people. You have to have time for yourself. What do you do for Luann?
If it's just for Luann, I'd like to tell you I paint, and I do,
Uh,
or I used to, but I don't take time to do that. But I should. No, I should do a little more painting or just a little more art, a little more pencils and ink or whatever. But I also have a Jeep, as I mentioned earlier, and I love going off road. I have a teardrop camper. If you're familiar with those, it's
mhm.
pretty much a queen size bed on wheels, and that's it. So that's real camping. But the camper is equipped as well as the Jeep. So you can take it off road, up over rocks, and go anywhere that the Jeep will go. So we can get some pretty remote places to be able to camp. So I
Mhm.
love that camping. And again, through the time that I wasn't busy on the weekends, through COVID, it was easy to go camping all the time.
Mhm.
Well, now all of a sudden I'm like, I want to go camping on the weekends. Well, my weekends, as you can imagine, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, Sundays are always slammed, are very, very booked up and busy on the
Sure.
weekends. But occasionally I have some minutes to run away and go off road.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, what an exciting business. Wanted to be out there and be out there with a great message and something different than everyone else. And then rounding out your life with your off-roading. And it's been a pleasure meeting you today, Luann. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And folks, hey, you want a different experience, whether corporate or private parties, please reach out to Luann and you'll have an experience to remember. This is Bill Adams, Coldwell Banker Realty. Thank you.